Welcome back. This is Jackie Hauser with Flexner Hauser Injury Law. This is our podcast, Laughter in the Law, where we talk about the law with a lighthearted twist. I'm joined today by my office manager, Diane Belmont.
Yep, your favorite.
Welcome back. You say that a lot.
Well, I'm the only recurring staff member that you've had on the podcast.
Well, probably you're recurring because it's after hours and everyone else has gone home. No one wants to stay late to be on a podcast.
Oh, so I'm here by default. Okay, all right. I hear you.
But you do add a lot to the conversation, so I enjoy that. Hey, today we're going to talk about, and we've talked about similar topics and have certainly similar information on our website. Got a ton of resources on our website. But today we're going to talk about things that the insurance company doesn't want you to know.
Right.
We could talk about thousands of things the insurance company doesn't want you to know. We're just going to talk about several of them. Yeah,
and maybe even ones that we mentioned today are ones that we spent a whole podcast talking about before.
Right.
But, sometimes it's just really good to be reminded that it's not just one thing or one hidden item that can prevent you from, getting the kind of recovery that you should get.
Exactly. And, we say these things so often within the office. We just think that it's common knowledge and general knowledge. But until you've been in an accident, you don't know these things. You don't know the journey that you're about to take. And, of course, I focus on the personal injury side, and the negligence side. And, of course, we also have a very busy workers' comp practice. I don't work directly in the workers' comp practice. I work on the periphery of that. But we had V on one of our podcasts earlier and have Cam as well. But it doesn't matter whether it's a workers' comp insurance company, whether it's a medical malpractice company, or whether it's an auto insurance company. These insurance companies all fall under the same umbrella. They all have the same agenda. And so it doesn't necessarily mean that we're only talking about auto accidents today.
Right. And I think one thing that I really appreciate about the blogs that you write or the podcasts that we film is that you want what is common knowledge to us here in the office to become common knowledge out there in the community.
Absolutely.
I mean, an informed community just helps everyone out. There's not the I don't want to say ignorance, but you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And so if you don't know how certain things happen or all of the behind the scenes things that we're doing, then you may think, well, they haven't done anything in 6 months, and whereas why is it taking so long for this? And there are usually reasons, there are usually processes that have to happen, and it's not always in our hands for why things happen the way they do, but we try to still advocate for our clients and get the best possible outcome when dealing with these things.
Right. Absolutely. So one of the first things that maybe not necessarily insurance companies will say, I don't think insurance companies are saying this anymore, but sometimes your friends or family will say this to you. And they say, you don't need an attorney. Why do you need an attorney?
Yeah.
And we have folks come to us. We had a lady come to us last year who had been told she didn't need an attorney. Mm-hmm. And then by the time that she came to us, she was on the verge of her statute of limitations running. She had a serious injury that required surgery, and she was on the verge of the statute running. And because of that, I didn't take the case. It was just too close. It was too dangerous for me.
Yeah.
And I felt really sorry for her. But, she had been convinced somewhere along the way by somebody that she trusted that she didn't need an attorney and she could handle this herself. Mm-hmm. I don't know that she never said that the insurance company told her that. Maybe it was her own. Maybe she told herself that she was a smart person and she knew how to handle it. But unfortunately, she did not. And I don't know how it ended up for but the insurance company knew the statute was then approaching, and they were not interested in giving her any concessions.
Yeah. Well,
So-
there's just so many. I feel like attorneys still in some way get a bad rep. Like, you are called ambulance chasers, or
I've never chased an ambulance.
or people think that they're just dollar signs to you instead of actual people.
I might chase an ice cream truck.
That's true. That's true.
And I will chase a donut truck.
But so, I can understand people maybe not wanting to trust an attorney. But the actual word, I believe one of in its origins, it actually meant advocate.
Yes.
So you are literally an advocate for
Yeah.
these people. You want the best for them and the best outcome. And it's almost like when you take on, at least I can say from first person experience, when I see her take on a case, she is as passionate about that case as if it's happening to her.
Yeah. So many times people associate that you don't need an attorney because you don't need to pay an attorney. But, I tell every client that I hire, and my first evaluation of their claim is, am I going to earn my pay? Now, certainly I have lights to pay for and staff to pay for and a building to pay for and salaries and things like that. But I want to make sure that I can add value to this person's claim so that I can earn what I'm making. And if I don't think I can do that, I will tell them, I don't think I can add value to your claim for whatever reason the case may be. It may be just a small, tiny fender bender and, maybe they did or didn't get any treatment. I don't know. But, in those situations, I may not be able to add value. I have had some clients, and a lot of times it happens with elderly clients who just don't know what to do, that even though I tell them, I can't add value to your claim and I'm going to have to charge you something, they will say, I just don't know what to do and I need somebody to help. And, I'll take those cases. And they may be small cases.
Yeah.
But my goal always has been to help people.
Yeah.
And so not just help people with the big cases, but to help people. And so, I enjoy doing that because I enjoy seeing them be able to hand it over, and it's like I've relieved them of a burden.
Right.
And they don't know what to do, but I know what to do.
Well, and you also said this in a previous podcast, but whenever someone is handling this on their own, they don't have the playbook.
No, they don't.
They haven't been through it, more than likely. They haven't been through it multiple times or hundreds of times.
Right.
And if they do, they're very unlucky. But, but you have. You have been at the table hundreds of times. You have the training. You know the playbook. You know their tactics. And you can guide this person on this journey of their case. And, there's even special nuances and special situations with every case as well. And without having that expert on your side, you're not really going to be that successful. So definitely need an attorney. That is a terrible piece of advice about not needing attorneys.
Last thing on this topic, and then we'll move on.
Yeah.
But there is a study, it's from several years ago, and they do these studies, every so often and publish them. But there are studies that show that attorneys do add value to personal injury cases. And they rank them from, simple soft tissue, chiro, all the way up to catastrophic injuries. And what people obtained as settlements or verdicts based on having an attorney versus not having an attorney. Invariably, those numbers are significantly more than what they would have ever recovered on their own. Now, what insurance companies want to do is they want to come in and be your friend and be as nice as they can be so that they can either get a quick settlement or so that they can get you to give recorded statements and then deny your claim. And do all the sneaky little things that they do, but then explain to you why you don't have a claim. And and then kind of plant the seed that you don't need an attorney because you don't have a claim. I just always would encourage folks, and whether you hire our firm or whoever you hire, to always have your claim at least evaluated by an attorney. It's not going to cost you anything in the personal injury world. I don't know any personal injury attorneys that charge for an initial consultation. I don't. I certainly don't. And we like doing that. We like having people contact us and telling us about their claim, and then we can talk to them about, what may happen, what possibly could happen, what we've seen happen in the past through our experience, and so we can give them some direction, whether it's representation or not.
Yeah.
The second thing that insurance companies typically don't tell you, and this is your own insurance company, is the second thing they typically don't tell you is if you have some type of benefit on your policy. You've been in an accident, and now, you have a duty under your policy to report it to your own insurance company, regardless of who's at fault. You have a duty to report it. The next thing that should happen in a perfect world is your insurance company should say, oh, well, Diane, remember you have collision coverage, and we can get you in a rental car today. And if you have any medical bills, you've got this MedPay coverage as well. So let us know what those bills are.
Yeah.
They should immediately tell you that, and they don't.
They should prompt you, remind you of the things that you're paying them every month or twice a year.
You have paid your insurance. This is coverage that you have purchased.
Yeah.
Protections you have purchased.
Yeah.
And they're not, most of the time, they're not going to tell you that. They're not going to tell you about MedPay. We have to chase it down, And then what they do, even whenever they pay your MedPay payments, now they've gotten to the point, and there's going to be a lawsuit on this. Just mark my words, and that's all I'm going to say. They've gotten to the point now where they reduce your benefit if they believe that your medical costs were beyond the norm of your geographic region.
Wow.
We literally had a MedPay check arrive where the lady, I'm going to say she had 3 x-rays and they were $38 a piece. And they reduced the MedPay check they reduced the 3 x-rays to $35 a piece because it was outside the norm. And I'm like, what is the norm? Show me your stats on the norm.
Right.
I mean, then another part of me said, am I going to fight over $9? And my immediate answer was, yes, I am. Because it's her $9.
Yeah.
It's not the insurance company's $9. She's paid for this benefit. And I'm serious. We're not talking about a $3,000 bill. We're talking about a $38 bill for an x-ray. And they reduced it, each one of them by $3. But they're not going to tell you about that kind of coverage, and they're not going to tell you that they're reducing your bill. But like I said, there's going to be a lawsuit about that pretty soon.
So I have a story too.
Yeah.
So periodically, I will try to help, find and claim that MedPay for our clients.
Yeah.
And I sent in plenty of bills for one of our clients to cover her small amount of MedPay that she had available for her coverage. And whenever I followed up with the adjuster after a couple of weeks and said, "Have y'all looked at that? Have y'all reevaluated?" They refused to accept the main bill, which had the most on it, that one bill, just a portion of that one bill would have covered all of her MedPay. They refused to accept it because the bill was scanned in skewed.
Wow.
They could still read all the numbers easily. Nothing was cut off.
And that's how the bill came to us.
And that's how the bill came to us. But because it is skewed, they will not accept it, because that prohibits them from being able to read it properly, which I'm like, that prohibits from AI from reading it properly.
Yes.
And we can't use the manpowers to data entry each of those lines, can we?
So let's have a 10-minute conversation about it whenever really and truly 30 seconds could get the problem solved.
Yeah.
By just looking at the bill.
Yeah, and I said, I can read this easily. And she said, I hear you. I can read it too. but it is being denied because it's skewed. And I said, can you please ask again? And I do need to follow up on that because I've asked her
So that's
to
an active
try
case.
again. Yes. And, if we can't, then I've got to ask that provider to try to send it to me straight so I can help her still get her medical payments coverage.
That's ridiculous.
Isn't it? It just makes extra work for everybody.
Because she admits she can read it.
Yeah.
You can read it, she can read it.
Yep.
But it's skewed, and it's denied because it's skewed.
Yep.
We dived in deep to medical payments. Let me just, because once again, we say these words all the time.
Yeah.
Medical payments coverage is extra coverage that you buy on your insurance.
Yes.
It doesn't come standard. And, that's one of the problems with picking your own price and going online and picking your own insurance. And I'm just going to go to the blank insurance company's website, and I'm going to spend 15 minutes and save 15%. Yeah, and you might be ripping yourself off because it's not typically what's offered. It's like an added coverage. And you're like, oh, I don't need all those coverages. I'm going to save money. Don't save money on the front end whenever you could spend $5 to $10 a year and have tremendous coverage for MedPay coverage. Mm-hmm. It's called medical payments, and it's very inexpensive. It covers everybody in your car, whether you're at fault or not, and it pays that amount of money, whether it's the lowest amount, I think, is $500 that you can have. The highest amount, it depends on the insurance company. If I'm not mistaken, I think I have $25,000 in coverage because I like big limits. But I also know that if I get in a car accident, everybody in my car is going to have $25,000 apiece for medical payments coverage. Mm-hmm. And that might cover an ER visit, And then the other thing, like I said, it's not based on fault. And the final thing is it's the cheapest insurance you can get.
Yeah.
It's like a cup of coffee a month.
Yeah.
Maybe a Starbucks coffee a month. You're not going to get any other cheap coverage than that. It really is. So don't try to get the cheapest coverage. Get what's going to protect you. And once again, if you're buying it off the internet, you don't understand what these coverages are.
Yeah.
So you really need to talk to an agent. I often tell folks whenever I'm sitting here and I'm kind of advising them, about their policy and why they don't have this or that, I often say, I sound like an insurance salesman, but I just want you to be protected, So medical payments and collision and rentals, once again, your insurance company just may not tell you that.
Right.
The other thing that the at-fault carrier may not tell you, let's talk about property damage for a minute. Now, people don't come in and hire us strictly for property damage.
We have plenty of calls of people wanting us to,
yes.
But there's a reason we don't take those.
Yes. But if somebody hires us and they need help with their property damage, then we do it as a courtesy, and we're more than willing to do it for our clients that have been injured in an accident, and we're helping them out.
We definitely give them more advice.
Yes.
Yes.
But with your property damage, especially if it's a newer car, 4 years or newer, if you have significant damage to your car, then you can get a diminished value claim. Because whenever you go to resell that car, you're going to have this significant damage. I believe it's 20%. It may be up to 25% of the value of your car. But it's somewhere in that range. And so if you've had that type of damage to your car, then whenever you go to resell it, there's going to be a diminished value on your claim because of that bad accident. So what you can do now while you're settling your property damage is also get paid for the diminished value of your claim today. Diminished value of your vehicle today. Even if you keep the vehicle, you can go ahead and get paid for that. It's part of your settlement. Mm-hmm. But whenever that insurance company is resolving your property damage claim, they're not going to say, oh, and by the way, don't forget, you can get a diminished value claim too. Nope. They're not going to do that. If you don't hire an attorney, you're not going to know that. So that's a very important part of the property damage part that people need to understand. And then the last thing that we'll talk about, and we'll kind of wrap it up here, is if you have an accident and it takes the insurance company of the at-fault party 7 or 8 days to decide who's at fault.
Yeah.
Right? Meanwhile, you have no car, you're bumming rides, you're spending a fortune on Uber if you live in an urban area, and you're just begging somebody. You're desperate to get a vehicle. Most of us are very independent. Most of us don't live in places where that are very pedestrian friendly. And but you can get reimbursed for those days that you did not have a rental car. It's called loss of use. And even though I don't handle the property damage side of it typically, I do make sure that my client had a vehicle supplied to them from the time that accident happened until the time that they got paid for their car or their car was repaired. And if not, then we're going to recover. If we didn't get a rental, then we're going to get the loss of use, the value of that rental. So you at least can put money back in their pocket for what they did lose. But the insurance company, if you're representing yourself, they're not going to offer that to you. Why? Because you don't even know to ask for it. But if you have counsel, if you have an advocate, if you have an attorney, they're going to protect you. Whether it's me or someone else, they should be protecting every area of your claim. I mean, those are only, 3, 4, 5 that we've just mentioned, and we could talk another hour about a dozen more. Yeah. But, those are just kind of the hot ones that we just wanted to touch on. And just remind everybody that you really do need an advocate. Whether it's our firm or whatever firm you use, you need an advocate. I had a client sitting here the other day that hired us, and he framed houses. And I told him this, and it's so true. I said, you know what? If I was building a house, if I wanted to build a house, I can't imagine me going and buying the lumber and the nails and looking at the diagrams and trying to build that house. It's not my specialty. It's not what I know how to do. You know how to do that. You can do things I can't do. And this is something I do that you can't do. So let me do my specialty. And he was all for it. He's like, I don't know what I'm doing. I just need help. It's like, I got it, because I wouldn't know what to do if I was building a house. It'd be a mess. Yeah. So, that's the joy of helping out folks like that who know that they're over their head. Yeah. And, so we just say, let us take it, and you just go on, do your thing, and we'll handle it.
Yeah, and I guess if I could leave you with one last thought for today, I would say that hiring an attorney is not going to slow down the process. Having a middleman between you and the insurance company isn't going to slow down the process, because the insurance company is going to move at a slow pace regardless. They love to delay, and they want to make you desperate for any little bit of money they throw your way. So it's best to have that advocate on your side. It's best to have someone who knows what they're doing and can combat that on your behalf.
Thank you for joining us today for this discussion about things that the insurance companies do not want you to know. We hope you've learned something new, or maybe been reminded about something that we've talked about before. Please join us again on our podcast, Laughter in the Law, where we talk about the law with a lighthearted twist.